which is treated as a waste. So this kind of the things are associated with the working of engine. Now here you can see one animations. So you can use the chat box to describe the different working of different parts, or you can say the hello,
Sir, audible, sir.
audible. A screen is visible to you or not?
Sir, screen ની અંદર slide નથી બતાવતી F5 દબાવવું પડશે. Okay, sir. Ready?
Okay, okay, now it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. I cannot able to see the chat box screen. Okay, so let us we understand the basic philosophy or the basic terminology of the engine. So here yellow color pipe, it is called as a cylinder, it is treated as a cylinder. The orange color, the moving parts which is inside the cylinder is called as a piston. Then piston is attached with some blue color parts, that part is known as a crank, sorry, connecting rod. And here orange color part is also called as a crankshaft. So now we understood the terminology. Over here the pistons and cylinder, how it does work. Then now we go over here, because we have to calculate the efficiency, various efficiency associated with the IC engine. So let us understand. So as in previous slides we can see that piston is moving between the two boundaries. It means there is a one upper boundary and lower boundary. So that boundaries means the optimum level of the piston moving. So an upper side it is called as a top dead center, and the lower side it is called as a bottom dead center. So here we have used the two terminology, one is TDC, another one is BDC. So second things, the distance between that two, see, suppose we are going with terminology, the first terminology is given over here is, that is a bore. Bore means the diameter of cylinders. See in this figure you can see here at the cursor, this is called as bore. So bore means the diameter of cylinder, or you can treat as a diameter of piston also, because there is the very less amount of clearance are there between the cylinder and piston. So we can neglect that clearance and we can consider the diameter of cylinder same as the diameter of pistons, and which is indicated by the D. Then TDC, that we discussed, the topmost positions of the piston inside the cylinder of an engine is called as TDC. Similarly, the bottom means the lower positions or the bottommost positions is called as a BDC. The distance between this top dead center and bottom dead center is called as a stroke length. So as per the definition, the distance through which the piston moves from TDC to BDC or BDC to TDC, it is known as a stroke. So how many strokes are there? How many strokes are there in engines? Students use the chat box. You have learned the so many kinds of IC engines. So how many working strokes are there in engine? 2 and 4. Yes, yes is saying 2 and 4. Okay, good. Any other answers from students? Rushi Badeka is saying 4 or 2. Okay, very good. Okay, all of you have learned about the classifications of IC engine based on the number of strokes required to complete one cycles. So there are two types of basically engines are there. One is called as 4-stroke engine, another is called as 2-stroke engine. So 4-stroke engine means the whole cycle is complete in the 4 different strokes. So now you can visualize that what is a stroke. Stroke means as piston is moving from top to bottom or bottom to top, it is called as a one stroke. It means suppose piston is at top dead center, as it is moving towards downward directions, so it is called as a one stroke. Another is second, if finally if further piston is moved from bottom to top, it is called as a second stroke. So likewise there are 4 strokes. Which are the 4 strokes are there? You can give the name, use the chat box to give the name of the different 4 strokes. Like first stroke is, which is the first stroke? if you are not interact with the student, please interact. If you interact, then and then this session is very fruitful at the end of the session. Otherwise it is not very, it is monotonous time of the sessions are there. Use the chat box. Yes. Expansion, compressions, suctions. Yes. Rutisha is saying compression, suction, compression, power and exhaust. Okay, very good. Okay, so suction, it means piston is moving from top to bottom, that is one stroke. In compression, piston is moving from bottom to top, it is called as compression. In power, either we have spark plug or the fuel injector, fuel is injected, and in that strokes the combustions of fuels are happening, and under the actions of the pressures which is generated by the combustions of fuels, piston is moving from top to bottom, that is again a strokes, and then exhaust valve is open and your four strokes, that is exhaust. So now my question, very fundamental questions to all the students, that if I have a four stroke engine, then how many revolutions of crank, here you can see the crank, so how many crank revolutions are required to complete the four stroke, means a one cycle for a four stroke engine? Okay, Manish says two, Rushi says two, yes, Devki is also saying two. Okay, very good. So four stroke engine, yes, four stroke engine is required two revolutions of crank for completions of one cycle. So how many numbers of revolutions are required for a two stroke engine? It is a half of that. It means in every revolutions there is a power stroke in two stroke engine, and in four stroke engine every two revolutions we have a power stroke. It is very important fundamental things. So here one revolution of crank equals to two stroke. It means four strokes required two revolutions of crank. Now another terminology that we are going to understand, here is a swept volume and there is a control, means a clearance volume. So first, a figure A is here the volume which is occupied or it is displaced by a pistons when it is moved from top to bottom or bottom to top is called as a swept volume. The volume that piston displays as it moves from one dead centers to the other. This is equals to the cross-sectional area of pistons multiplied by the stroke length. As all of you know that it is cylindrical shapes, and we have the pi by 4 square is the area, cross-sectional area of the cylinder or pistons multiplied with the length. So we get this swept volume equals to pi by 4 d square into L. Clearance volume in another figure here, you can see the second figure, pink color figure is there, and it is called as the clearance volume. Clearance volume is the space between the top dead center and the cylinder heads. So this is a cylinder heads, and this is extreme conditions of the piston moving in the topward directions. So this volume is known as the clearance volume. Now, based on this two volume, we can define the compression ratio, and compression ratio is the, yes, it is a sum, means it is a ratio of VC plus VS divided by VC. It means total volume divided by the clearance volume. And the value for the compression ratio is always greater than 1. Now we are going for performance parameters. What are the different performance parameters are there? But before that, here I'm showing you a figure of power strokes. So what is happening in the power strokes? Suppose we have the petrol engine. So in petrol engine, there is a spark plug we have, and piston is reaches to the top dead center. The spark is happening, and the combustions of fuels are take place, and the under the action, suppose this is a spark plus and piston is reaches to the top dead center. All of a sudden the sparks are happening, and all the fuels are burning in presence of air, and it generates the downward directions force, and under this action of the force which is generated by the gas, the expansions are happening and piston is moving from top to bottom. So the power which is generated over here by the burning of fuels at the top positions of the piston is called as a indicated power. So indicated power means the power produced inside the engine cylinders by burning of fuels is known as indicated power. See, all four strokes, we have the different suction strokes, compression stroke, power strokes, and expansion means exhaust strokes. So in all the stroke, the work in only power stroke, work done by the fluids means work done by the systems, and work done by the system is taken as a positive, and rest of the all work done on the system is called as a negative. So this is a basic fundamental terminology that are. So in indicated power means in power stroke by combustions of fuels, whatever the pressures is generated and under the action of that pressure, the piston is moving from top to bottom, and whatever the work done are happening, it is called as indicated power. Now I'm going in basic terms of the uh, power. What is a power? So I'm written over here work done into the work done divided by time. So again, I have used student use the chat box and say that what is work done. What do you understand by the work done?
All students are requested to active participation in on these sessions. So use your chat box.
What is work done? It is very fundamental question, students. Please, Wala sir, if it is possible, then unmute 2-3 students so that we have the voice of that students. Hello. Okay, so we are not wasting a time in that. Work done equals to force into the distance traveled by an object in the directions of force applied. Means force into the distance. It is basic terms. And another terminology that we need to use over here is a pressure equals to force divided by area. Pressure equals to force divided by area. So force acting on the pistons, because it is a pressure which is generated by the combustions, means the hot flue gases or the hot gases are generating the pressures, and under these pressure actions, the piston is moving from top to bottom. So we use the pressure into the cross section area. So we are getting the force. Now here, I have the taken the PV diagram. So if you go in this PV diagram, the heat is supplied at constant pressure in diesel cycle, and after the action of the under the action of the hot flow gases, piston is moving from top to bottom. But in every segment, suppose this is my top dead centers, and as piston is moving in downward directions, so pressure get decreases. You can realize from this the pressure PV diagram that as piston is moving from top to bottom, the pressure gets down. So we cannot have same similar pressures acting on the piston top. So that's why we are taking the PM. PM means a mean effective pressures. So now work done equals to force into distance. So force equals to pressure into area, and under this action of the pressure, piston is moving from top to bottom. That's why we are taking L. So our equation is becomes a P mean into area into L, and area means a cross-sectional area of a piston or a cross-section area of cylinder, that is taken as a pi by 4 d square. So again, power equals to work done divided by time. So how many revolutions means numbers of power strokes per minutes. So our equation is becomes power equation is becomes a P mean effective pressures, the area, length, and N. N is a number of power strokes per minute. Now again, yes, for earlier we are understanding the concept that in 4-stroke engine, power strokes comes after 2 revolutions, and in 2-stroke engines, power strokes comes in every revolutions of cranks. So small n will be equals to n for two-stroke engine and n by 2 for four-stroke engine. And our final formula for the work produced by the engine equals to the P mean ALN equals to Newton. Newton is the unit into meter. Newton meter is becomes a joule per minutes. So now we divide it by the 60, we get a Newton meter per seconds, it becomes a watt. Further, we divide it by the thousands, so our unit is becomes a kilowatt. Now, suppose this is we calculated mean effective means indicated power equals to mean effective pressure into area into length into n divided by 60,000. It is expressed in the terms of a kilowatt. Now we calculated this uh, power produced for only a single cylinders. If our engine is a multi-cylinder engines, then we also need to multiply it with the numbers of cylinders. Sometimes in your book this portion is given how to measure the indicated power. So indicated power is measured using the different types of spring used. It is attached with the pistons, and we can have this some amount of graph. So here P mean is equals to SA upon L, where S is a spring index or the spring value. It is also called a stiffness. Then A is area and L is a base of the base weights of the indicated diagrams. Now brake power. So power produced inside the engine is not very useful for our purposes. For our purposes, we required a power over here on the rotations of the crank mechanisms. So brake power is the power available at engine crankshaft for doing useful work, and it is also known as a engine output power. So brake power is measured by the dynamometer. Various types of dynamometer is listed below, like raw brake dynamometers, then hydraulic dynamometers, Pronebeck dynamometers, eddy current dynamometers. These are the different types of dynamometers which is used for measurement of an brake power. Now here this kind of figure is given in your book, which is of the raw brake dynamometers. In actual practices, suppose this is an engine. Here this is output engine output shaft. This shaft is engine output shaft. We are having this kind of apparatus. We have this drum, we have this rope, so it is called as a rope brake type of dynamometers. We have one end is a dead end, another end is a moving ends. We have used the two different weight scales. Here in this figure we have the weight, dead weight, which is acting in the downward directions, and the spring balance is acting in the upward direction. Similar way over here, it is one end is fixed, another end is moving ends. So how we can calculate the power in this with the help of this kind of dynamometers? And this is generally used in actual practices. We have only used this kind of rope brake type of dynamometers. So now in from the previous figure we can understand this W is acting in downward directions, which is called as a dead weight. Actually weight we are measuring in kilograms and all that, but here we are taking as in Newton. So if in the numerical, if it is given in the kg, then we need to multiply it with the gravitational accelerations. As all of you know that W equals to m into g. If mass is given, suppose I am saying that a 5 kg of weight I am suspended at the end, so how many kinds of weight is there? So 5 is multiplied with the 9.81, but generally we are taking as a 10, so it is called as a 50 Newton. So this kind of conversions may be required in numericals. Second is spring balance readings. It is again given in kg, but we need to convert into the newtons. Then the D is a rope diameters. Suppose from the previous figure, this is a rope. If you can see in this picture, this is a rope. The diameter of the rope is called as a small d. Then n is a crankshaft RPM. Means in previous slides we can go and check. This is engine shaft. Engine shaft is rotating at certain RPM. So the RPM of this shaft is here we are using, and it is denoted by the capital N, and it is revolutions per minute. RB is a radius of brake drum effective. Capital D plus small d divided by 2. Capital D is a diameter of the drum. if we go in the previous slides, see this is a drum. You can see in this figure also it is a drum, and the drum diameter is indicated by the capital D. So effective radius is D plus D divided by 2. Now net brake load means the dead weight is acting in downward direction, spring weight is balance is acting in upward directions. So finally resultant is W minus S. It is also in the unit of newtons. Then braking torque. Torque equals to force into the perpendicular distance. Means here the shaft is like that and we have a drum. So whatever the perpendicular distance, it is multiplied by the radius, which means effective radius. So we get W minus S into RB. The Newton meter is a unit for the torque. Then from the torque, we calculate the brake power. Again, from the torque, we have to multiply work power equals to work done divided by time. So here, how you can measure the distance. So one revolutions, suppose you have a circular motions. So if you rotate one complete revolutions of crank, the numbers of radial displacement is 2 pi, means a 360 degree. Suppose if you have a shaft and if you rotate in complete one revolutions, means you cover the 360 degree of the displacement. So it is here 2 pi, and n means a number of revolutions. Suppose your shaft is rotating at 50 rpm, so it covers the 50 times 2 pi numbers of displacement in a 1 minute. So again minute is converted into the seconds by dividing by the 60, and here it is Newton meter. Again it is converted into kilonewton into meter. So our final unit is comes as a kilowatt. So our brake power formula is becomes a 2 pi nt divided by 60,000, and where t is calculated using this formula, that is W minus S into RB. So this is a two important parameter that we covered. One is a indicated power and second one is a brake power. But here third power is also important, as indicated power is the power which is generated at the end of the top of the pistons, and the brake power means a power comes out of the engine. So it is required a mechanical transmission systems. So the amount of power which is lost from transmission, means from IP to indicated power to the brake power, this loss of the power in terms of the friction is called as a friction power. And very simple formula is there to calculate the friction power, that is indicated power minus brake power. Now what we are supplying to the our engine, what we supply to the engine, student use the chat box, what we are supplying. Yes, Manish is saying fuel, very good. Okay, another answer is also called as a fuel. Okay, okay, chemical energy. Okay, Parth is saying fuel, very good. Please use this kind of chat box, which is very helpful to us for live interactions, as face-to-face lecture is not possible in this situation, so we can have live interactions using this kind of platform. So please use the chat box, so we can have we can also receive the yes, Hinal Bhatt is also saying fuel, very good. So now the question is that how you calculate the energy associated with the fuels, how you calculate the energy associated with the fuels. Okay, Baraya Khyati is saying different types of energy for different of engines. Yes, very good. If your petrol engine is there, then you need to supply the petrol. If your diesel engine is there, then you need to supply the diesel. If your gas engine is there, okay, okay. So now my question is that how you calculate the energy supply to the engines? As all of you are giving the correct answers that by the different types of the fuel, different energies that we are supplying to the engines, but how we calculate the energy associated with that fuels. So here I'm using fuel, it means a chemical energy. So how we can calculate the chemical energy associated with the fuels? So we have to introduce a one term that is called as a calorific value. and generally it is indicated by the CV. The and definition of the calorific value is very simple. The amount of heat liberated by burning of 1 kg of fuels is called as calorific value. Very simple definitions. Suppose I have 1 kg of petrol. By burning of 1 kg of petrol, whatever amount of heat is liberated, that is known as, suppose I get 4000 kilojoule of heat energy by burning of 1 kg of fuels. So similar way, my calorific value of the fuel is becomes a 40,000 kilojoule per kg. Clear? Now we go for the mass flow rate of the fuels, because it is mass basis equations. So we need to go with some mass. We need to multiply it with the mass. So the amount of fuel supplied to the engines per hours, it is multiplied with that. So our total energy input is mf into cv.